The press is reporting notable absentees, such as former President Buhari, former Vice President Osinbajo, the former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, amongst others. Some analysts say the absence of these key figures may fuel speculation about internal discord within the party. How do you react?
No, I don't think so. Look, in the history of political parties, I'm not aware that there's ever a time where you have universal attendance. Because, look, let's not forget that, even setting a date for a meeting as important as the National Caucus meeting or the National Executive Committee meeting, it's not easy because you're dealing with the schedule of very busy leaders, of the country and of the party. Having an agreement around a date for any meeting is not, a piece of cake. It takes some work and takes time to, find that, convenient time that everyone or most people can attend. Now, the absence of, those you mentioned, I think should not set off any concern. As I said, they are citizens who are also very busy, who have a life, and, depending on their convenience, they come or they may not come. But today, we had the overwhelming majority of our, NEC members in attendance at the meeting. So I think the absence of a few shouldn't in any way become anything to speculate on, when you have the greater majority participating very vigorously at our meetings today.
I know that the National Caucus is considered an advisory organ made up of elders of the party. We saw them met yesterday. But give us some clarity as to who was expected or is expected at the NEC meeting, especially when you consider former governors. Are they also expected to be part of the NEC meeting? They
are, by our constitution, the governors, 7 governors are members of NEC. And today, there was a massive turnout of our governors. All of the heads of, the branches of government, the Senate and executive branch led by the president, were in the meeting. Members of the National Working Committee were there.
No, I'm asking specifically about former governors.
No, former governors are, typically not members of NEC. But, by the way, today, we had a motion that was moved and adopted and that resulted in the approval of a committee, a 7-man committee that has now been tasked with the duty to review membership of NEC under our constitution, with a view to expanding the membership of NEC. So that committee is headed by Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe. He is leading the committee, 7-man committee, to tinker with this question, to open it up more to more participation. So we're expecting that at the end of the process, hopefully we're going to have even more people included by our constitution as members of NEC.
Critics argue that holding the NEC meeting after 18 months violates the APC constitution, which mandates quarterly meetings. What's the party's stance on this issue?
Again, people must also realize that NEC is the highest decision-making organ of the party outside of the National Convention. So when we say this, let's be mindful that we're also talking about the same organ that has enormous powers to determine how the Constitution is, operated. Now, you may say 18 months. We scheduled the meeting, but we had to postpone. And today's meeting was, in fact, a reschedule of a meeting that was postponed. I mean, there's no institution in the world where postponements are not done. It wasn't as if we were just oblivious of that. We scheduled a meeting sometime last year. I announced the postponement because, all of the required pieces didn't quite come together at the time, and we postponed. Today we've had a meeting. So, I don't think anyone should make any big deal out of it. The meeting was cordial today. There was no, it was a high energy meeting. And I think that NEC did exactly what NEC was set up to do.
I hear
today.
you, but some of your party members, think otherwise. Preceding this meeting, we heard from former governors like El-Rufai and Kayode Fayemi expressing frustration about the delayed meeting. Are you saying that the party isn't paying attention to their concerns if the Constitution requires that NEC meets on a quarterly basis and it has met once in 18 months? They are saying that meeting should have held about 5 times prior to this time.
It's interesting you mentioned certain individual, leaders, of the party. Now, none of the members you referenced, I don't recall, citing them at the meeting today. You see, like I said, when people have grievance or bear a grudge, they can seize every, issue and argue it as though that is a problem. Having a NEC meeting today is not a problem. And, there were focused, serious leaders who attended a meeting today. Assuming there was anything that untoward that has happened to the party because NEC did not convene earlier, we have very outspoken leaders who were there today who will speak their hearts out about it. But the fact is that, don't forget that NEC also, in between NEC meetings, donates some of its powers to the National Working Committee. So the National Working Committee, is authorized by NEC to, take care of urgent matters that cannot await, the convening of NEC. And everyone knows the National Working Committee of our party, under the leadership of, His Excellency, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has been hands-on and, has maintained its weekly meetings, sometimes twice, 3 times a week, depending on the urgency of, developing matters. So, we're not lacking in, party leadership or decision-making. As a matter of fact, let me say this, that, because our party, has been strong, our internal democratic system has been, strong, I'm sure you can bear witness to all of the traffic from the opposition parties into our party. At the National Assembly, we have, on record about 18 members of the National Assembly who have crossed from the opposition parties into the All Progressives Congress. And then the larger population of opposition members are flocking into the party, in droves. So if there was anything that was suggestive of, some instability or lack of, democratic operation in our party, I don't believe that these, leaders, who are coming out from the opposition will be coming in as massively as they're coming. So, look, I think, today is a day where we want to at least take, a deep breath and say to ourselves, we had our meeting, decisions have been made, now we're looking forward to implementing those decisions, including, for example, fully making our Progressive Institute operational, including now today the national chairman announced and requested the, support of NEC to now find and, develop a befitting headquarters for the party. And, we also announced recently that we're embarking on our digital registration, the first of its kind in this country, to transfer our membership from, the manual base to, the digital platform to make it easier to plan and to, pull information. Look, we are very happy with the progress we're making, but we are committed to doing much more in the coming days and months.